Alright, this whack job is gonna have Kyogre now. With the new event also comes this new background and stuff, so you're gonna see that we're fighting in the new background, but we're using an account. It's an alt, you know, it's kind of a neglected account, let's say, so that's good, right? Because for this first battle against Giovanni, I just sort of like to test the waters, always, whenever we're first fighting him. I think it's also gonna be, like, a little bit less serious, you know, you might find that there's a lot harder Giovanni lineups than you can see in this one. For instance, Persian right here, it's got Feint Attack. The fight goes very, very differently if the Persian has Scratch. There's some people that know this and some people that don't, and so just for anybody that's kind of beginner or new to Team Go Rocket, yes, there will be a different tact and a different strategy needed if the Persian has Scratch, and so I do have videos on this channel about that. I can link those everywhere that I need to, but essentially, if you're going up against this Persian that has Feint Attack, you can use pretty much any of your fighting types. Scrafty ultimately is the GOAT going up against that. You gotta think that you're like double resisting, right? Because you've got Fighting and Dark with Scrafty. It's also got a spammy moveset. You know, you can use Counter as your fast attack, Power Up Punch. It takes very little energy. It's a guaranteed buff to your attack. It fires off rapidly. It does a decent amount of damage. It's super effective, of course, to the Persian. Won't really be super effective, obviously, against the Nidoking right here, which is coming out in that second spot for Giovanni. We're still gonna get as much damage as we can. This is sort of like, you could say, bonus damage going up against the Nidoking right here. I'm a little bit sick, you guys. I'm getting over this cold, so please forgive me if there's anything wrong sounding with my voice. I'm trying here. But yeah, so here we go. Getting a few more of these power-up punches again. I'm gonna try to show things on screen that are like tips just in general for Team Go Rocket and for fighting. One thing that you should know is that every single time that you use a charge attack or they use it, then you're gonna have a little bit of stun time, stagnation period, where Team Go Rocket's gonna stand still. Look, his Nidoking is not doing a thing, right? After we just did that power-up punch. And so we're gonna go with Vaporeon. The only reason for this choice, it's super effective, right? It has a somewhat spammy moveset, although using Water Gun doesn't really generate a lot of energy per hit, so that's one thing, but it's a Pokemon that's been in the game since 2016. Like, I feel like most people can acquire it, and so again, in this first run against Giovanni, we're sort of testing the waters a little bit, but we're also showing you things that are hopefully accessible, budget teams. You'll notice also all of these Pokemon are below 1300 CP, so this is actually showing you that, look at this Kyogre, it's 17,000 CP, 17,034, and we're gonna make mincemeat of it. It's gonna be a little bit close. So, I mean, if these were 1,500 CP, it would be a whole lot easier, but, I mean, hey, if they were 2,000, 3,000 CP, so that's what you should do, you know, that's what these videos show you, is that, like, hey, these are budget teams that can win at low CP levels if you use the right strategies, have the right move sets. You gotta consider all of those things, right? That stagnation period that I said before, you gotta consider your type resistances and strengths and all that, but that sort of stuff can go out the window a lot of the times if you're using your 4,000 CP plus, you know, legendaries, mythicals, and you're just sort of out-muscling them. Like, probably a lot of people want to win that way, and that's not really what my videos are for. This is to show you guys, you know, that need the budget teams, that need maybe more of a, sometimes it's beginner, but we try to stay away from using legendaries in this wherever we can. Now, you know, some beginner people do have legendaries and stuff, so I don't always do that. I'm just saying, most of the time, right? So the cool thing about Alolan Executor, this is specifically Alolan because it's got the dragon typing in here, so if you're needing a grass type, which is obviously going to be super effective against Kyogre, grass or electric, right? The thing about grass is that it resists water. Kyogre's only fast attack is going to be Waterfall, which is a water type attack, right? So using grass gives you that advantage of resisting. Now, if you go with something like Zekrom, right? Like, that's a dragon slash electric, so dragon is going to resist water. So yeah, like, there's an electric type that will do it. What I'm just saying is that, like, all grass resists water, right? It would have to have another typing that makes it vulnerable, I guess. But anyway, that's beside the point. You saw there, we picked up the victory. Like I said, I'm going to cover Giovanni again now that he's got Kyogre with a much harder lineup. That's kind of what I plan to do. Find a Persian with Scratch, you know, maybe a better middle spot Pokemon. We'll see. So be looking out for that. And there are definitely performance issues with this new, like, it looks nice, right? Like, hey, look at all those buildings and stuff. That looks cool. But it gave my phone at least a little bit of performance issues. Hopefully you guys experience something better. So there we go. 1485 Kyogre. It's 2 stars. But please click an end screen on screen. And thanks for viewing.